Now, if you imagine that I wrote a love letter to my wife, Lucy, and for some reason it was just so beautiful, but I put at the bottom only to be copied in handwritten form or something, and then I handed this out. Sorry, I'm stretching your imagination. And I got each of you to copy it out, and then you handed that on to someone else, and they got other people to copy that, and to copy that, and to copy that. Because it's handwritten, there's bound to be errors. But if you imagine there were sort of hundreds and hundreds of copies all over the world, but you lost the originals, how would you know what the original said? And you'd compare all the copies, and if they're all so different from each other, well, then you don't know what the original says. Does it say what this one says or what this one says? But if they're all very similar, and actually the minor discrepancies are very easy to kind of work out, well, that must be what it was saying, then you can go right back and you can get an accurate picture. And that's what we get with the New Testament Gospels. Now, if you just have a look on the inside of your service sheets, there's a little table there, which hopefully you'll find useful. You see, all ancient documents were written way before the photocopier, obviously, and at least 1,500 years before the printing press. And so it all had to be handwritten. And so we need to compare like with like. We need to compare ancient documents with ancient documents. And you can see some other famous ancient documents that are taught in the universities and in the schools that we all just trust happily, listed there. Herodotus, Thucydides, Caesar's Gallic Wars. Now I want you to focus on two. Caesar's Gallic Wars, the third one on that list. Compare that with the New Testament. So Caesar's Gallic Wars, almost everything we know about Julius Caesar, other than from the few statues and coins and so on, is from Caesar's Gallic Wars, supposedly written by Caesar himself. Almost everything we know about Jesus is from the New Testament, from the Gospels. Now you see with Caesar's Gallic Wars, it was written about 50 years before Jesus was born. The earliest copy we have is from AD 900, that's nearly 1,000 years later, 950 years later. And we've got 10 copies. Yet no one really doubts that what we have written is what Caesar wrote. And yet, look at the New Testament. Written between AD 40 and AD 90. The earliest scraps are from AD 125, 50 years after. Complete manuscript, AD 350, so 300 years after. And in terms of the number of different manuscripts and texts and so on, the key one to look at is the Greek, because that's the original language that it was copied from, and that's 5,500. So what we're looking at here is something where we've just got an extraordinary number of manuscripts, so that we can look at all the different errors and see what the original said.